Hey guys, welcome back. This is 4th and 21, a Bears podcast by Bears fans. I'm Arturo, this is Alex. Today we're going to be talking about both of our picks for offensive breakout players of the years. We're going to be starting off, as tradition, with some shots. Seagram 7 again today, just to get things going, get the blood boiling. And you know how it goes, as tradition. Bear down, and we're going to get to it. Oh, that's a full one. Let's do it. Bear down.
Bear down.
Oh, all right. Well.
So, just want to do a quick shout out. Tommy Knocker Green Chili Beer. If you guys like a spicy beer, it is fucking delicious. I know green chili is also a big thing here in Colorado, so it may not be accessible everywhere. But if you do have the chance to pick it up, highly suggest it. So, I'm going to start off with my breakout offensive player, who I think is going to be David Montgomery. I think there are multiple reasons why David Montgomery is going to have a breakout year. I'd like to start off by pointing out the fact that he had 28 broken tackles last year, which ranked 7th in 2019. For example, I should say for comparison, Derrick Henry had 29. Obviously, you guys all know that Derrick Henry...
You all know who Derrick Henry is.
Derrick Henry, obviously an absolute beast. Only had one more broken tackle than David Montgomery last year. To be fair, David Montgomery had a lot more broken tackle opportunities because our offensive line was absolutely trash. Which I'm hoping Juan Castillo is obviously going to
step up, take some of that.
Is going to make a difference in the running game as well as the passing game, but I really am hoping that he's going to make a big difference. He also had 6 touchdowns last year in only 8 starts. Yes, he did have a lot of rushes, but he technically only had 8 starts out of 16 games, obviously. And that ranked 20th in the league, which is not great, but compared to our compared to our rushing yards per game, which was 29th, it's actually not that bad. And also in comparison, Saquon only had 6 rushing touchdowns last year as well.
And he was given the ball at every opportunity to score.
Yes, exactly. But however, he only started 13 games.
He did.
But to have the same amount of rushing touchdowns as Saquon, who had Daniel Jones last year as their quarterback, which semi-comparable to Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah.
So, but obviously they're going to give the ball a lot more to Saquon. He only had 13 games, but 6 rushing touchdowns, same as Montgomery last year.
Also, the exposure coming in, though. Saquon, we knew who Saquon
exactly.
was. No one knew who Montgomery was.
True, yes. Everyone was ready for Saquon.
He had to show himself who he was for his name to come up. Barkley was everywhere.
That's a good point. Montgomery did not have a good year last year. Let's be honest. 3.7 yards per carry is not good. That's 41st in the league.
Just subpar, though. I'll say it's just subpar.
But it's 41st in the league. No, it's 41st in the league. That's bad. That means there are multiple players on other teams.
The Bears were not a good team last year, though. So.
As an offense, they were not. And again, I do attribute a lot of this to the offensive line play, which is why I'm hoping that Juan Castillo can have a big effect on the Bears and their rushing game.
I think he definitely.
And again, the Bears were 29th last year, so by no means were we a good rushing team last year. So it's not hard for David Montgomery to have a better year than he had last year. However, I think he's going to come out way better. I think this may be a bold prediction, but I'm calling a top 15 running back next year. Top 15 running
Montgomery.
back. Not fantasy running back, but overall running back. Yards per carry, total yards. He had less than 900 yards. He had less than 900 rushing yards last year. That's terrible. However, a lot of that, again, I do attribute to the offensive line. Our offensive line was absolutely trash. But I also think, again, I've said this multiple times, everything that I say is with Nick Foles being the starter. So I also think this actually comes into David Montgomery's why he's going to be better next year is because Nick Foles, I've brought this up in the past, he is really good in the RPO. Mitch Trubisky is not. What does that mean for David Montgomery? That means that because Mitch Trubisky wasn't good in the RPO, he was giving the ball to Montgomery when there was clearly a blitz, which is not going to do anything for David Montgomery, which is going to bring his yards per carry down.
2 or
exactly, which we all saw all fucking season. It was second and 12, second and 12, second and 13. second and long almost every fucking time. And I believe a lot of that was because they knew the rush was coming and Mitch Trubisky could not read the defense. And he said, okay, yeah, I'm going to hand it off to him when he should not have. He should have seen that there was a blitz, taken the ball, done a quick. Oh, not, he could have thrown it away, but a quick slant pass.
But I'm just saying,
something
he made
along those
Montgomery
lines.
look like shit on the stat board.
He did, as well as the offensive line. And so I think Nick Foles being...
I feel like we should dedicate an entire show to the offensive line at some point.
We absolutely probably could, and I don't know if I want to because that's just going to be a whole show of just heartbreak. However, I think Nick Foles being so good in the RPO, he's only going to give the ball to Montgomery when there's actually the right defense in play. It's a zone defense, there's no blitz, boom, give it to Montgomery. You know, like, oh, there's a blitz coming, let me do a quick slant to Allen Robinson or Anthony Miller, somebody along those lines. You know, like, he's going to be better prepared. I mean, he's more of a straight speed. He is going to be out there, but he's more of a straight.
I'm just saying, you have options. Don't put him in that position.
Exactly. But so I think the whole RPO, it's a big part of Nagy's offense. I think that Nick Foles being able to read the RPO better than Mitch Trubisky is going to put David Montgomery in better options as well. Because if he doesn't hand it off, David Montgomery could also go off to the side and get a screen play, you know, and then get a nice gain on a screen. So I think overall, reading the RPO is going to be really helpful for David Montgomery, as well as our wide receivers, as well as our offensive line, as just our entire offense in general. So those are all the reasons that I think that David Montgomery can have a good, really breakout season next year. Like, he obviously can break tackles. He was 7th in the league last year. Derrick Henry only had one more broken tackle, and the dude is fucking a beast. He's probably like 50 pounds heavier. I don't know about 50, but he's way heavier, way taller, and
it looks like he's 50 pounds heavier on the replays.
And was the leading rusher last year.
He's a tank. He's a tank.
He's an absolute tank, and he only broke one more tackle than David Montgomery. So obviously he has the skills to do it as long as he's put in better situations to run the ball and gets a better offensive line, which hopefully Juan Castillo can bring to them. I mean, we signed players like David Fetty, that's not correct, but we signed players like Fetty, and I do believe that our offensive line is going to get better. It can't be much worse than it was last year. Jermaina Fetty, sorry. It was Jermaina Fetty. He does get a lot of holding penalties, but that tends to be on passing plays, not rushing plays. So rushing-wise, I do think we brought in a few more tools on the offensive line. We brought in a good offensive line coordinator or coach. So I think that Dave Montgomery has all the tools to be a really good running back as long as we use him the right way and our offensive line steps up their game. So I'm looking for David Montgomery to have a big breakout year next year. I'm hoping over 1,100 rushing yards on, I'm going to say about 250, 260 rushes. 1,100. I think he could easily pull that off. I'm putting it out here now. And 6 touchdowns, I'm going to raise to 9 next year.
I was going to say at least 10.
9 rushing touchdowns, which is really solid. That's a solid.
Of you, but 1,100.
No, 1,100 with 9 rushing touchdowns. You guys heard it here. 250, 260 rushing attempts. I also think that we're going to take a few more away from... Oh, wow, you're pouring some more shots. All right. No, that's fine. It's totally fine. But I think he's going to pull some more rushing attempts away from Tariq Cohen. And that's going to... No, that's totally fine. I think Tariq's more of a gadget back, and I think we need to rush him a little less, do a little bit more play fakes towards him, like play fake screens, and then have, Ted Ginn, like you mentioned, go sprinting down the field. If they're looking for a screen and Ted Ginn's down the field, Nick Foles, maybe Mitch Trubisky, can hit him downfield. And Nick Foles is really good at hitting people deep. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he does have the angle.
Yeah, and we need to have that, even if he doesn't get there. Just the depth to draw the cornerbacks and the defenders back
100%.
there. Not just have them all in the space where even if we get the ball 5 yards down the line, they're all there ready to take us down. Like, what do we really win on 3rd and 8 if we only get 5? Nothing.
100%.
We're just doing it over and
100%.
over and over again.
What I would also like to see next year is some 2-back options where you have Tariq Cohen and David Montgomery out there. And that way the defense has no idea what's going on, because as soon as you see Tariq Cohen out there, it kind of gives away the fact that we're going to do a screen pass or something along those lines. I think if we can hide what we're trying to do a little bit better, which again the RPO will hide that as well, because you don't know, oh, was that supposed to be a fake handoff and a slant, or was that supposed to be a handoff? And you don't know when it's a well drawn out RPO and the quarterback actually knows what's going on. You don't know, oh, was that supposed to be a screen? Well, Nick Foles just pulled it away from David Montgomery because he saw the coverage, saw the extra linebacker, did a quick slant. You don't know what it's supposed to be. So when we hide those things a little bit better, I think David Montgomery is going to have a way better year. I also expect to see him in the passing game a little bit more. I know that doesn't have to do with his rushing, but we're talking about breakout offensive players, so we're not just talking about rushing. I do believe that he's going to do a lot better on catching the ball, and I'm not seeing screen plays as much, but I do expect Montgomery to catch the ball and get a lot more yards there as well. I want to say 300, maybe 400 yards receiving as well.
Okay, I thought 1,100 rushing was a little much, but remember that I'm not the only one hearing.
400 years.
3 to 400
yards. 400 yards on.
We're not signing anyone that long. Not even.
No, absolutely no. Well, Tariq. It's also Tariq's contract year, so he may come out and go beast mode on people. He's a little joystick player.
I would love to see that. I would love to see it.
I have no problem with having a dual great running backs. Let's do that. Let's absolutely do that. But it's all going to be about disguising our rushing and our passing plays, and we did not do that at all last year. But again, I think a lot of that again comes down to the RPO, Mitch Trubisky not being able to read the defense, putting David Montgomery into bad positions, putting his wide receivers into bad positions. So that's why I believe David Montgomery is going to have a breakout year. And you guys all heard the numbers, so mark that down.
Yeah.
We're taking another shot now?
Is that all you...
I'm done. I'm done on David.
I feel like I could talk more about him, but I feel like that's with every player on the board.
Yeah, but it's my player. It's not your player.
He's our
No,
player.
but that's my player for my breakout offensive...
All right.
Bear. So, bear down, guys.
Breakout Bear. I feel like we're going to have to change it up next week.
No Seagrams next week? Do some scotch.
Ooh. In that case, no beer then, just sip.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Sipping scotch. All right. Let's get to your offensive player.
I already know the expression that's going to be on your face when I say
Oh my
the
God,
name.
are you going to say somebody fucking stupid?
I'm going to say Cordero Patterson.
Well, I would have gone as my backup Anthony Miller. Just quick shout out because I think he's going to have a breakout season as a wide receiver.
Well, it's all a play off the players.
But, hey, you tell me why Cordero Patterson's going to have a breakout year.
Well, let's just start with Anthony Miller and
we're bringing
the wide receivers. Yeah, Anthony Miller, Robinson, and Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn, you already said. Oh, well, we got Ted Ginn. But having those, and especially coming Nick Foles into the... Honestly, now I think Nick Foles is going to start.
I don't know, that interview with Mitch Trubisky really threw me off, man.
And yes, I heard an interview with Nagy, too, and Ryan Pace, and it's all a toss-up, and
No,
whoever gets it. But
did you hear Mitch's interview? Because that shit really influenced me. Sorry, go ahead. It's your turn.
I did. I'm going to bring that up because it's
Okay.
important.
Okay.
But it all, like you said, comes down to who is at quarterback.
Yep.
If Foles is back there and we have Robinson and Miller, Ted's over there, we have options down the field, whereas Cordarrelle doesn't need to be a wide receiver.
No, absolutely not.
We have Montgomery and
Tariq
Tariq Cohen, and we have two running backs that are their third and fourth string.
If I remember correctly, he had an
for,
amazing rush against Dallas last year.
Yeah, and they're fighting
Fantastic.
for that third spot running back. He's 29. He's done. He's proven himself. He doesn't need to prove himself to us that he's.
So you're seeing him as a running back?
I think not entirely. But I think it all comes down to situational points. Like I said, he doesn't need to be a wide receiver. He doesn't need to be a running back. If he's gonna be good,
he's a gadget player.
He's Inspector Gadget. If he's in second and eighth, I want him on the wide receiver slot. I want him out there with Robinson. most likely, or Miller and Robinson and Cordero. I never want Ted Ginn, like, whatever. It's fine. But I just think his ability to play, he's played wide receiver, running back, and tight end. He's played all of them in the systems, especially with New England.
Yeah.
You had Gronk. You had
He's a gadget
Edelman.
player, 100%.
You had people that knew how to do it, so you put him in wherever he needs to be fed, and he'll be fed, and he'll eat, and he'll keep eating. So I think it's not more so about being a breakout player like this is going to be his best year ever. It's going to be a breakout player for our team. We don't need him to be one slot. We don't need him to be back here. Like, whatever we need him to be, it's almost like we have this it's like when you're working at a restaurant. You have a manager and you have a second manager that's just floating around taking care of all the shit that no one wants to take care of.
Okay. I like that analogy.
You've got wide receivers that can do it. You've got Montgomery and Tariq, which I think will build off that. You've got Cole Komet, which I think is going to honestly fucking come in and play a lot this season and just show his strength. And then Cordarrelle's just back there picking up every slot that no one either can, or we just need to throw him a little fucking, curveball and be like, hey, how are you gonna measure us? You can't, because we have every slot full and then we have this floater.
When you said Cordero Patterson, my first thought was, what the fuck are you saying?
Exactly, because no one's thinking of the whole dynamic.
However, I do actually like him as a gadget player where Nagy can use him in so many different positions. Any given situation. Dude, he could be a fucking fullback.
He could play
with David
anything.
Montgomery behind him, and then you don't know if it's going to Montgomery or him. And you could actually do a lot of creative plays with him. And Nagy, in 2018, was extremely creative. 2019, I don't know what happened. He lost all his creativity. In 2018, he threw a touchdown to a lineman. He threw, Akeem Hicks ran in a touchdown. That didn't happen in 2019. So we need to go back to that creative mindset that he had, and Cordero Patterson could be that person where Nagy brings out his creativity again, because you can literally slot him anywhere, like you just said, on the field. Wide receiver, tight end, halfback, fullback. Like, he's there. He could do any of those positions. And most likely with our wide receivers, you're going to be looking at Allen Robinson. At our running backs, you're going to be looking at Tariq or Montgomery. At tight end, you're going to be looking at Jimmy Graham or Cole Komet. You're not actually looking at Cordero Patterson. And so he could actually be a really good gadget player for us, where people just forget about him.
He's there.
And he's such a beast of a player once he gets the ball.
He only ran it 17 times for us last year. And he's on a 2-year contract.
And what did he do with that 17?
103 yards, 3 yards.
That's over 4 yards a carry. That's way better than fucking David Montgomery did.
4 yards, yes, but he ran it 32 times, or 42 times for New England with 228 yards. And that wasn't, I brought up the Nick Foles and depth thing because it worked in New England, because you knew you had Brady, you knew you had receivers down the slots, so you're not always looking at Cordero Patterson back here that's going to run it unexpectedly. You're focusing on the back ends.
Yeah.
And now I'm saying, if maybe Trubisky can fill that slot, but if Foles is in for sure, I know that Miller and Robinson, Ted, Cordero is going to be out there wide receiver wise. Like, we have options.
So do you think we're going to use him more next year than we did?
I think we should. If
do you think we will? Well, because this is your breakout player, so that means you think that they're going to use them more, right? Not that they should.
Well, I think he's going to be used way more than just playing one position.
I hope so, because it's also his second year.
Well, because like I said,
so
all the players we have
Miller,
we have Robinson, we have Ted Ginn, we have Jimmy Graham and Cole Komet. We have Montgomery as the first option right now, and Tariq is the second now.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, and then two younglings fighting for the practice squad spot, and one of them is probably going to lose it if Cordero starts playing running back. But it's more of also him giving all these players the opportunity to get to where they're at, because he's there. You don't just play tight end, running back, and wide receiver unless you can. So he's there.
He's a big.
Now this is the
fast
time for
dude.
him to come to Chicago, and we actually use him for what we've been lacking, is having that master of none, but literally master of everything. He knows how to play everything. And if
He's
just,
like Tariq, but the exact opposite body.
he's
You
what
know, like because Tariq is a gadget player. You can.
he's what
he can
Tariq
be a
tries
running
to
back.
do.
No. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. Tariq can play running back. He can play wide receiver.
Can you play tight end?
And he's a punt returner, right?
Can you play
So
tight
wait,
end?
hold on. Punt returner. So those are three positions that Cordarrelle can do, except instead of punt returner, he's a kick returner. So they're very similar, except Tariq's fucking this big, and Cordarrelle's this fucking big. They're both like very gadget players, however, completely different body size. Which having them on the field at the same time, I think, would be super beneficial. Because if you have two gadget players out there, say
it gonna
wait,
go
no,
to?
hold on. Let's say Cordarrelle is a fullback, and Tariq is the halfback behind him. You have no idea what those two players are going to fucking do because you have two gadget players that could be audible to the outside.
Yeah, I was just gonna say who's it gonna go to.
And if they get audible to the outside, that means a linebacker's going to have to pick them up, and no linebacker can guard either of them because of their speed. That honestly, Nagy, if you're watching, which you're probably fucking not, this is something you should be watching. Cordero Patterson at fullback and Tariq Cohen at halfback. You had put them there. The defense has no fucking idea what's going on. Are they running it? Because I'm goddamn sure that Cordero can block somebody with his size and his speed. So it could be a rushing play with Tariq Cohen.
You could even have Miller.
It could be
and
both
Robinson.
of them. Both of them go out wide, and then you go into shotgun, and now you have fucking Tariq, Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller, maybe let's say Cole Comet, and Cordero Patterson. You have no idea what's going to happen in that situation if you're a defense. You cannot guard that. Oh my gosh!
You practice that day in and day out. We're going to the
With
Super Bowl.
those two gadget players being so different, they could line up behind Trubisky in the I formation, and they could do fucking work with that shit. I don't know about the whole breakout shit, but I do think that he could be a great.
Well, that's why I started by saying not breakout as in this is the best year he'll ever have, but it's the best year he'll have for a team.
For the Bears?
Whereas he will do all the
Will
things.
Will he do better than last year?
Absolutely.
I hope they use him more than they did last year.
Because last year he was used as if he was in New England, and he was not in New England.
Dude, he really didn't get used that much last year.
No, he was with the Bears. Sorry, I mean, I love the Bears, but the reason why we're doing this, in a sense, is because there's a new life coming out of this. It's Nagy's third year. His first year was amazing. His second year, there's a lot. I mean, I want to bring up Cody Parker, but like
Cody
Parker, Spider-Man that never made it, and this like the last podcast we were talking like it. I'm not looking at getting people that are gonna like fix our team right away. Like we've gotten those pieces, and now we're drafting people that will come into the play. Cole Comet. I just listened to his podcast earlier. My guy from last week, Jalen Johnson. Well, it was weird because they were calling him Jalon. It's Jalen.
It's Jalen Johnson.
And then Ryan Pace came on, and he was talking about the pickups and how, we're putting the pieces together to build a team, not just a. It's gonna be fun to watch this year. No,
but
it's gonna be fun to watch
yeah.
this year and the next year and the next year. And the next year, and then we'll figure it out.
You don't need all those big players. You need all those pieces. Yes, cohesive pieces.
That just
100% agree with that.
And all the things I didn't even think about when you brought up Montgomery, and then I brought up Cordero, how those two would,
how they could work
interchange
together, yeah.
and work. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting.
Well, and another player, I just really quickly want to bring up, Darnell Mooney.
He was in my.
Was
it in my notes?
Oh, he was in your notes. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
No. That's perfect. I'm just saying.
Darnell Mooney, dude. He is Taylor Gabriel's predecessor, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know if you guys have seen his highlights from college, but he is fucking ridiculous. Not only is he is he fast, but he's athletic. He jumps and makes the most ridiculous fucking catches. I believe that this guy, maybe not this year, will be insane.
Well, the article I was reading was
but
saying...
I believe next year he will be a huge part of our offense. And if possible, I'd love to use him this year. I just know a lot of rookies, especially drafted that late in the draft, struggle with a lot of things. But Darnell Mooney is...
He's a jump ball.
Oh my
guy.
God, dude. He's tiny. And I've
said,
seen him go up and jump balls and go above these fucking, like...
There's an article,
these cornerbacks that are 3-4 inches taller than him. Oh my God,
not
dude,
the
he's a
Tribune.
beast.
What's the not the Tribune? The Chicago Sun-Times? Is there a Sun-Times?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, yep.
If not, I'm an idiot.
No, it's Chicago Sun-Times. You're right.
They were talking about Mooney, and they were like, the crazy thing is on the Bears lineup, Allen Robinson's the guy that goes up and jumps and catches those high balls.
Oh,
Mooney is that guy, and he's short.
Yeah.
You have that in him where he will
Gabriel
get up
did
there
not
and
do
get
that.
it.
Gabriel.
And that's when I was like, when I started thinking.
I love Taylor Gabriel.
Well, that's when I started thinking about Cordarrelle. I was like, maybe it's not their biggest strength in what they can do in one point. It's what they can do when people don't expect it.
Yeah.
Short guy, jump up and get it. Cordarrelle, line up as a fullback. Like, there's all these things that you can do for your team and just work with it.
And the
make
thing
the
that
whole
I
thing
love the
cohesive
most about
and just
Cordero
go.
is he's willing to be that piece. And I do believe I will credit this to New England. New England.
Might as well finish these.
All right. Well, okay. Well, New England says or teaches their players that you're here to be a piece in the cog, right? Everybody's a piece.
Everybody
in the
plays
cog.
their part.
Everybody plays their part, and you will do whatever that is asked of you, and you will do it to the best of your ability. He has no problem. If you put him anywhere on that field, he doesn't have a problem fucking doing it. He's not going to be like, well, I'm not a fucking fullback. I don't fucking block for people. He's like, oh, you want me to block for somebody? Or you want me to pretend to block for somebody?
Or you want me to play a fullback? I'll show you what a fullback should do.
He will play any part that you ask of him, which is why I do love Cordero Patterson. I'm still a little weary of that being your breakout player. However, I do like all the talking points
The way I explained it, though, is why he was it wasn't a breakout player in his career. It was a breakout player for a team.
So you mean more of like this is going to be his biggest year playing his biggest part for a team. He may not have
No.
the most rushes,
both playing his part for a team and getting yards as a tight end, getting yards as a running back, getting yards as a wide receiver, potentially getting kick returns. He's doing it all. He's doing it all. How do you discredit someone that plays all those positions?
And he has
for
no
a
problem
team?
doing it.
29, he's proved it. The Bears have their set players.
Is he not on punt?
That would be amazing.
Is he not on the punt return team as well?
He's on
trying to block punts?
Yes, he's on the punt.
No. I mean, like, Tariq Cohen's back to catch a ball, and Cordero is there to try and block the punt.
Because Tariq's catching it, and if it's
and
not
I think,
him,
is Cordero not out there trying to block the punt as well?
Yes, but is it not?
I may be wrong, guys. Don't fuck me for being wrong about this, but I think he may...
On kickoffs, though, is it not?
Well, kickoffs, he's returning it. But I'm talking about, like, defensively on punt returns, I think while Tariq's back, he might be going out for the ball to try and block the punt. I'm pretty sure he's out there on punt returns as well, but not as the punt returner.
I think he might have done that for sure on New England. I'm not sure about on the Bears. It's only been a year. But.
Well, forgive us. But, yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting pick. I don't know if I agree with the breakout part of it, but I definitely love talking about the ways that Cordero Patterson can be used and the difference that he can make in our offense this year.
Well, the thing is also, has he ever been that player on a team? Like, when you, hear me out. When you hear breakout player, you hear he did the most that he could do in what you know he can do, and then just to the extent. Like, I think of Odell Beckham Jr. Not recently, obviously. Like, the year where you start hearing shit, and then you're like, oh, he can actually, if I had him
Has he ever broken out since then?
That's my point, though. That's what I'm thinking in my head. It's like all, like, cliche breakout player. Oh, he's doing all this stuff. He's getting yards. He's getting touchdowns. But in my head, I'm like, in the Bears, organization, I really can't see any player as a breakout player. I can only see it
That's
as
fair.
like you helping the entire team, because even if you
He
are
can
a
be an
breakout,
essential.
but even
he
if
could be
you
an
are,
essential piece. I think that's what.
yes, it
you're
is.
getting at. He could be an essential
because
piece
in my mind,
us
you can't
winning.
be a breakout player as a Bears player right now.
No, you absolutely can't. So okay, so to me,
You
what
can,
I
but
was
it's
thinking
gonna-
of when I thought of breakout was, okay, they had a decent to shitty year last year, but they're going to kill it, or at least raise their numbers by 20% next year. That's to me what I was
20
thinking
would
of
be
breakout.
nice.
20%.
20 would be really
Well,
nice.
I don't know if Montgomery can go 20% because that's well, no, that's exactly what I said he was going to do. He's going to raise his numbers by 200 yards rushing. So yeah, 20%, 10% better. Those are breakout players. You're showing how much better you can be the next year. So Cordarrelle, I don't know how much more he can bring to his stats, but what he can bring to the team, I think, is exponential.
That's my point.
If Nagy uses him correctly. And the thing is, Nagy was so creative 2 years ago that if he had Cordero Patterson on that team, Cordero Patterson would have had an amazing fucking year. I promise you guys that. What he did in 2018 was use every fucking player to their best skill. And last year he did not do that, which is why I think that if he goes back to 2018 Nagy, Cordero Patterson could be an essential piece of getting touchdowns, first downs, all the big pieces of our offense next year.
Yeah, and I don't...
Are we bearing down?
I bear down.
All right.
It was bear down number 2. I don't think it's that easy for Nagy, as much as, like, I love hearing that, like, for him to go back to 2018 Nagy, because...
That's such bullshit. He did it once, he can do it again.
I mean, Jordan did. But...
Well...
no, it's... The thing about the Bears is it's the Bears. You can't just... Like, we can say all this and we can believe it, and I believe it full-heartedly, but... I feel like there's some witch doctor out there just talking shit on us, because we've had the pieces in the past 10 years where I've seen it, at least in my coherent time where I've known the Bears, and it's just gotten me to the point where I'm like, what can we do?
I've never seen really the Bears go great and then great again back-to-back years. They tend to take years off. So since we went 12-4, had a bad season at 8-8. I mean, it was a bad season for our for what our expectations were.
We should have gone 12-4 at least.
This year?
The games that we threw away, yes.
Okay, so the thing is, we also lost a lot of games by one score, and nobody talks about that. We lost a lot of games by one fucking score.
The scoreboard
However,
is what it goes by at the end.
What we lost those games, and our offense was so bad that if we just raise our offense by 10%, which is fucking nothing, we could win easily 11, 12 games. I can't wait to go through the schedule with you.
So yeah, I mean, we obviously gave our opinions on it. Whoever you guys think is going to be the breakout offensive player of the year, let us know in the comments, subscribe. We want to hear what you guys think, because this is just us two, so we want to know what's going on with the Bears. So, again, subscribe down below, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bear down.